Hi everybody, it's Des, aka the Shamrock Pixie, and today's topic is about mental illness. What is mental illness? I do have two different articles that I pulled up. I will not be reading them word for word, but I'm going to give you kind of a rundown of what exactly mental illness is so that you're aware, so that you have a little bit more insight on it. I personally suffered from mental illness, and I felt that a lot of people hear the term mental illness, but a lot of people don't understand exactly what it is unless you're suffering from mental illness. And so I have, like I said, two articles. One's from the Mayo Clinic and the other one is from the Mental Health America. And so I'm going to switch over to my screen so you guys can see it. This one is from the Mayo Clinic. The links will be down below. I can't remember if I said that or not. So if you want to read more into it or read more of the article, they will be down below. So what mental illness is mental illness, also called mental health disorders, refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. Examples of mental illness include depression, anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Many people have mental health concerns from time to time, but a mental health concern becomes a mental illness when ongoing signs and symptoms cause frequent stress and affects your ability to function. A mental illness can make you miserable and can cause problems in your daily life, such as at school or at work or in relationships. In most cases, symptoms can be managed with a combination of medication and talk therapy. Now, I remember when I was diagnosed with a mental health issue, um, it was right after I had left my ex-husband who was abusive, and I didn't want to accept the fact that I had this. Now, I don't know if I was born with it and it was just triggered because of the abuse, or what the deal was. I just know that going through the abuse was really stressful and hard, and I didn't have anybody to turn to. And even after I left, I had nobody to turn to. I've gone to counselors. I've gone to doctors, and as of right now, I feel like I'm pretty stable for the most part. Now that I've actually gone in and realized I've had a problem, and it takes a long time. It took me, I should say, it took me a long time to come to terms with, yes, I definitely need to be on medication to help kind of manage my anger and everything that I was going through. And so with that, it was a struggle. It really was. I mean, it got to the point where my kids didn't want to be around me first thing in the morning, and Tommy didn't want to be around me first thing in the morning. And usually it was like an hour or two before I was able to snap out of whatever was going on. But then throughout the day, I was still very snappy, and I couldn't explain it. I still can't explain fully how it feels when this stuff goes on. And even though I have medication now, it's still a learning process of how to manage it and how to control it. And medicine isn't always the answer because it doesn't always help everybody. And neither do counselors. That's something that I've learned throughout the years. My counselors were always, oh, well, if you wouldn't have done this, this wouldn't have happened. If you would have, just gone and got help right away, you wouldn't have your mental illnesses. But I don't believe, deep down, I don't believe that at all had anything to do with my coping and with the reason why it happened is actually what I'm trying to say. So it's mental health is a struggle day in, day out, and I know that I'll be struggling for the rest of my life, but at the same time I know I'm going to get stronger and learn more coping skills and more ways to control it in the end. So we have the symptoms. Signs and symptoms of mental health or mental illness can vary depending on the disorder, circumstances, and other factors. Mental illness symptoms can affect moods, thoughts, and behaviors. And that's my struggle. I have, thoughts where, people, it would be so much better if people weren't, I wasn't here for other people. I feel like a burden 9 times out of 10. I feel like no matter what I do, it's not right. So why should I be here? Not that I would ever commit suicide, but the thoughts are there that life would be better if I wasn't here. And it sucks having those thoughts constantly in your head. Now that I'm on medication, they're less, but they still kind of sneak up on me. And so it's something that I got to still work on, and I will always work on. Symptoms and signs. Examples of signs and symptoms include feeling sad or down, confused thinking or reduced ability to concentrate, excessive fears or worries or extreme feelings of guilt, extreme mood changes of highs and lows, withdrawal from friends and activities, significant tiredness, low energy or problems sleeping, detachment from reality, delusions. I'm not sure what this word is here, or hallucinations, inability to cope with daily problems or stress, trouble understanding or relating to situations and to people, problems with alcohol or drugs. That is one thing I am so glad that I have not had an issue with. Major changes in eating habits, sex drive changes, excessive anger, hostility or violence, and suicidal thinking. Sometimes symptoms of mental health disorders appear as physical problems such as stomach pain, back pain, headaches, or other unexplained aches and pains. If you feel that, any of this sounds familiar, please contact your doctor, set up an appointment, and go to that appointment. Because there's nothing worse than losing somebody you love because of mental illness. If you are having suicidal thoughts and you're afraid that you're going to act on them suicidal thoughts, please call 911 or call your local emergency services. There is a number here also. There is a suicide hotline number in the United States, and it is 1-800-273-TALK. Again, 1-800-273-TALK. There's also a website that you can get a hold of the suicide prevention, and it's Suicide Prevention Online, Suicide Prevention on lifeline.org/chat. All this will be down in the description below. But please reach out and get help, because you have loved ones who love you. And it's a devastating thing to lose somebody to mental illness, to suicide, because it's just, I could never do it. But I know there are people out there that will do it. And I'm hoping that you do not do it and you call 911, call your local emergency service, get a hold of the suicide hotline. They will help you. they will help you. And it's very important too to have a good support system. And I know a lot of people don't have that. I am lucky to have that with Tommy, with my kids, with my friends and family that I have on YouTube, and my mom. I have that support system that I need. And I want everybody out there to have the same thing. So please do not be afraid to pick up that phone and ask for help. It is very important to reach out to somebody. It will help. The second article I'm going to bring up here is, what is mental illness? Mental illness are brain-based conditions that affect thinking, emotions, and behaviors. Since we all have brains, having some kind of mental health problems during your lifetime is very common. For people who have mental illnesses, their brains have changed in a way in which they are unable to think, feel, or act in ways they want to. For some, this means experiencing extreme or unexpected mood changes, which I have. They suck, and I can never explain why I'm feeling that way, or I never know when it's going to happen. I don't, and I feel guilty when they do happen, and it's something I know I have to work on, and I know that my family understands, but I feel like I shouldn't put them through that, and um, but they're so loving that they work with me on it, and now that they know exactly what's going on, they they work with me on it, which is nice because I didn't have that before. I didn't want to admit that I had a problem that needed help. And when I finally admitted that I needed help, um, they've been working with me, and it got to the point where Tommy and I almost split up because I couldn't control what was going on with me. And I couldn't explain to him what was going on. I didn't understand it. And so it's very important to reach out, to get help, to admit that you have this going on, and to express that you need the help big time. And I'm learning as I go. Like feeling more sad or worried than normal. For others, it means not being able to think clearly, not being able to communicate with someone who is talking to them, or having bizarre thoughts to help explain weird feelings they are having. My communication skills before I became medicated, even now, it wasn't there. I mean, I could talk to people, but I couldn't explain. Like, I'd try to explain something, and I'd be like, that thingy over there, and I'd forget what it would be called. And um, Tommy would tell me it's the stove, and I'd be like, yeah, that thing, and I know that a lot of people have noticed, in my past lives, in my past videos, that I stumble a lot. I'm a hot mess. Um, I constantly am forgetting things. So I have a notebook where I write everything down. I have paper next to my desk. If I can think of something, I write it down. That way I can remember, I can look at it and be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. That helps me get through most of my day. Okay. Where was I? I apologize. I had to pause for a moment. There are more than 200 classified forms of mental illness. Some of the more common disorders are depression, bipolar, dementia, schizophrenia, and anxiety disorders. Symptoms may include changes in mood, personality, personal habits, and or social withdrawal. And that's the thing. I mean, this isn't cut and paste like a lot of things out there. So if you feel that you have any form of mental illness, please do not be afraid to pick up that phone and call your doctor. Mental health problems may be related to excessive stress due to a particular situation or series of events. As with cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, mental illnesses are often physical as well as emotional and psychological. Mental illnesses may be caused by a reaction to environmental stresses, genetic factors, biochemical imbalances, or a combination of these. And with proper care and treatment, many individuals learn to cope or recover from the mental illness or the emotional disorder. And and that's the thing. I'm, like I said, I will put the links to these articles down below so that anybody who is, wants to read them can go in and fully read them. Just remember, you know, when I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't sure which direction I was going to go in. My mental illness, I thought I had under control. It was something I was hiding. Not that I was hiding it from everybody. It's just, it was something that I didn't feel that needed to be out there. But then when my spleen happened, my mental illness started getting worse, and it was affecting, me doing YouTube. It was affecting my family life. It was something that I felt I needed help with. And I thought, well, maybe if I could find somebody on YouTube that I can relate to, that'd be awesome. And I couldn't find anybody. And so I know I repeat myself a lot. I explain things, kind of weird. And sometimes I repeat myself more and more and more. And I do apologize for that. But that's just who I am at this point. And each time I do this makes me stronger. And I appreciate everybody coming and supporting me. Much love to you all. Remember, it is okay to talk about it. It is okay to tell yourself, yes, I have a mental illness, but it's who I am, and I can do this. I can do this. And I had a quote that I found when I was doing my research, and I want to share it with you real quick. It says, oops, let me get it to where you guys can see it. I am so proud of the warrior I've created from the ashes that were meant to bury me. It is a beautiful quote. It is so true. And I hope everybody takes that into their hearts who suffers and realizes that this isn't a death sentence. This is what's going to make us strong. And in the end, if you need somebody to reach out and talk to because you're embarrassed and you don't want to do it live, contact me. Contact me at theshamrockpixie@gmail.com, which is also down in the description below. And with that, I'm going to head out. Much love and have a beautiful day.